Okay, we're live.
All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Family Church of South Florida Unplugged Acoustic Edition, live here in Plantation. All right, thanks for tuning in with us today. Let's sing on our couches, in our rooms, the river. want to let you know this morning that we are here for you, that we are still continuing to have faith, continuing to have hope, wanting to give love, wanting to give compassion and understanding, and wanting to be plugged in today, knowing that you are our rock, knowing that you are our anchor, and that no matter what this year may bring us, we know that we can stand strong in you. We know that there are so many bits of uncertainty right now, but we know that as long as we hold on strong to you, hold on into the faith, and be able to just follow your words and your wisdom and hold that deep in our hearts, that we can be able to get through this valley. And we can be able to climb out of this and see a bright new day waiting for us. This time has really shown us just how important our relationships are with one another, how social we are, and how you have made us that way. But I pray that we can take this time alone, especially in our own small spaces, in our homes, taking this quiet time to reconnect with you, to be able to build our relationship with you, and start to plug ourselves back into you again, so that once we come out of this difficulty, we can walk with you, strong with you. We love you so much. I like to pray in all of these things, in all of our names, and the names of my angel, because it loves you. Amen.
Okay, so this is a song, original song we have. This is our debut of it. This is the debut. The song's never really been heard before, but I thought it was timely, so hope you enjoy. Go on, carry on, journey 1,000 miles, boundless and bending through the dark of night. Go on, carry on, light the way with fire. We'll keep it burning on nothing but desire. Don't you worry, child, this pain comes and goes. Sometimes we'll take a thorn just to see that rose. So don't you worry, child, there is no broken life. Look to the rainbow, it's made of broken lives. My life. How love. Go on, carry on, in case you wanted to know, Howla means all is well. So that's definitely my prayer for all of you. All right, this is one of our favorites. Let's do this.
Acceptance just to find your love's embrace, like an orphan longs for his mother. May you hold me in your grace. Oh, won't you take me from this valley to the mountain high above? I will pray, pray, pray till I see your smiling face. I will pray, pray, pray to the one I love. Dreams of a strong wind that will flow beneath her wings, like a voice longs for melody. Oh, Jesus, carry me. Won't you take me from this valley to the mountain high above? Oh, I will pray, pray, pray till I see your smiling face. I will pray, pray, pray to the one I love. Oh, I will pray, pray, pray till I see your smiling face. I will pray, pray, pray to the one I love.
Yeah, awesome. All right, we know that especially we usually have a bigger band, but with our circumstances, we try to minimize what we have, and so we still love playing with each other, even though it's just the three of us today. So I'm really grateful for all the people that were able to come together this morning and just to put on this live stream for you. We want to welcome you to the Family Church of South Florida, and we know that wherever you're watching, we just wanted to welcome you, whether you are in your living room, whether you are at home. We wanted to make sure that you tune in with us, feel inspired, that you can feel empowered. And we know especially at this time, there's a lot of difficult things going on, things that are bringing a lot of uncertainty. But we're so glad that you're able to realize too that just by this live stream, we can still stay connected, that we can still be able to hold on to our heavenly parent, our rock, and be able to move through this valley and be able to see the bright day, see the hope that will come soon. we wanted to also, I just wanted to share that during this time, I know we're all home, but it's a really great time just to spend with your loved ones, to spend with the people in your house, or even if you're by yourself, just being able to take that time to refocus on reflection, to refocus on prayer. Yesterday, we also had our ministry team come together and just take some time to pray for the families and people in our communities. Also being able to pray for just the global family that we have, to be able to pray for our nation's leaders, to be able to pray for the people in different states that we might know, our friends, or some people who are on the front line, who are working in hospitals, who are working in grocery stores, who still need to go out. We wanted to pray for them, and also for the people who maybe find it difficult to be at home, difficult because maybe that's not a safe space, or maybe for the people who have lost their jobs. And so we want to encourage you that prayer is such an important, vital part of this time right now, and we encourage you to just take some time during today, every day, just to pray for all of those people. And especially here at the Family Church of South Florida, our hearts really go out to you. We love you, we miss you, but we know, and one of my favorite stores, this furniture store, Wayfair, they said, it's such a great message that they shared the other day. They said, we may not be together, but we're all in this together. And so we want to just lay that out to you, knowing that 2020 gave us a curveball, but God taught us how to hit. And so we will get through this, and especially as a community, as a family, we want to just say that we are here for you. And before I welcome up our Pastor Joe, before he comes up, I just want to encourage you that if you feel inspired, that if you feel encouraged today and empowered, that you can go to familychurchsf.org and you can give right there. You can help bring in your tithe and your offering. I know we're not meeting here, but luckily you can do that electronically, just with a click of a button. Within less than a minute, you can go to that page, click give, and everything will be right there for you. So if you feel empowered today to do that, we really, really love and appreciate you. But now we're going to hear some encouraging words, and we want to welcome up our pastor, Joe Young.
Hello, guys. How are you? I'm going to ask you how you are, and you're going to answer, and I will pretend to hear you. That's cool. I love this. We can stay connected. In my mind, there's a roaring applause right now. Yeah, let's go. Go church. Special thanks to Daniel, Ari, Leilani, and so many others for, and our ministry team. We got together and did a prayer yesterday, and I really felt encouraged and strengthened by this. Our connections to each other are vital at this point when things get rough, or we often forget that things will get better, and when things are good, we often forget that things might get worse for a time. So it's good to kind of take this in and say there will be times when this gets much better than it looks like right now. So today I want to talk about remembering just the concept of remembering the good time that is coming, remembering that there will be one, and how so many times we actually forget to remember the things that are good in our lives. So I want to start with this. 1 Thessalonians, rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. That's kind of the message today. Actually, I'm anticipating, I don't want to wish it into existence, but I am anticipating that, as tensions might rise in the next week or so around us, there might be a sort of message to stay calm, stay in your homes, stay calm. But actually, staying calm is not the same as staying peaceful. Staying calm is not the same as having peace and a true acceptance and grace under a pressure. Just calming yourself down doesn't work. I mean, if anybody ever says, calm down, it never really works, right? So what we want is deeper than that. What we want is true peace, peace with knowing that we are getting closer and closer to God. This passage is so simple. Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you. To me, it's like if the whole Bible was reduced to this one sentence, it would be very, very difficult to fulfill. Rejoice always in every circumstance. And if actually we were able to do that, imagine what would happen. If we were rejoicing in every circumstance, there wouldn't be murder, there wouldn't be stealing, there wouldn't be all those things that, the tragedy of humanity has done. Rejoicing always in every circumstance is quite a command. And I know that oftentimes we look to holy words to kind of comfort us, but actually many times it challenges us. And this concept is quite challenging, but it's in rising to those challenges. It's in pushing ourselves to meet the challenges of the Bible that actually we become stronger people and we grow. And in that strength, in that growth, in that nearness to God, we have more peace because we're closer and we hear God's words for us in our life. So I'm definitely guilty of not remembering the joy in life many times a day, I'm sure. I'll give you an example. I was hustling around all day with Alexandra and taking care of her. And then, I guess it was my turn. Keishu might have been taking a break. Well, for me, all day is actually probably not all day, probably a few hours. But after watching her, Keishu took the baby back and said, "Thank you, honey." And I said, "You're welcome." And she said, "Geez, you sound kind of sad, like when the way you said you're welcome." I was a little defensive when that happened because I said, "No, I'm fine." But then I thought about it later and I said, "Yeah, maybe I was kind of like feeling sorry for myself or trying to milk, the goodies out of this situation." When I thought about it, I had to admit that. I was like, "You're welcome." I'm so sad. And so funny that, just an hour later, I handed her back to Keishu and I had to go to work. And when I was leaving for work, Alexandra was like crying and screaming towards the front door. It was so sad. And she like stuck her hand. I couldn't close the door. She stuck her hand and tried to pry it open and like crying and prying the door open. And I was like so sad and so heartbroken. And I realized, wow, just an hour earlier, I was only focused on how tired my body felt or how exhausted or how much she whined or cried that day. And then very quickly reminded, how awesome it is to spend time with my own daughter. Because I know a lot of parents don't spend that many hours with their kids if they're out working all the time, but I get to spend a lot of time with her almost every day. So I'm really grateful for that, and I lose that perspective often. So this message is for me as much as anyone else. So I wanted to take this moment to appreciate. Let's do it together as an exercise on purpose. We're going to take a moment. Around us, there's going to be things that are getting canceled. We know that there is an impending kind of, closing down of things in the world around us. So I want to take a minute to focus on what's not getting canceled. So if you would, make a mental checklist with me now. What in your life is not canceled? Make that list in your mind. For me, it's music. Music is not canceled. Singing is not canceled. Writing, journaling. Projects I couldn't get to earlier is not canceled. Laughter and phone calls and conversation and FaceTime with friends is not canceled. Cooking at home and becoming a better chef is not canceled. In fact, it's probably promoted. Reading is not canceled. Prayer is not canceled. And love is not canceled in general. Reflection is not canceled, and family time is not canceled. So when we make this list, I hope that you can feel it, but I can feel a different spirit come over me. I feel, wow, there's so much in our lives to be grateful for. When we make this list and we focus on this list, we're fulfilling a very important another Bible verse I want to share with you. It's one of my favorites. It's a little longer, but I think it's worth pondering. It's in Philippians 4:6-8. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your heart and your minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. And actually, in the original Greek, it says meditate on such things. So in this time, as we hear about, the news is going to kind of want to pump you up and get you paying attention to all the things canceling and all the things changing over the next couple weeks, I want to lean against that and encourage that we meditate and think about all the things in our lives that we're grateful for. Whatever is lovely, admirable, excellent, praiseworthy. And this is such an antidote. One of the things that this anxiety or stress that happens to us is one of the things that causes that is this feeling of being alone, that we're going to have to figure all this out on our own. But actually, the Bible tells us so clearly that that's not the case. So many famous verses in Psalms, when I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, I have no fear because, Lord, you are with me. When Jesus says, where there are two or more are gathered, we have about that much here in person, but we have so many more on the internet. I will be there. Christ will be there when you're gathered in my name. And we are. God is with you. God is love is such an amazing concept because if you love one another, you're with God. God is there. Love is with you, and love is there. And it's such a hard concept for so many people, but it's always good to bring it back to God as a parent. God is a parent. And I know as a parent, I will never, ever forget my love for my 1-year-old, and even when she's a 20-year-old and she'll be off in college, and it'll still be there. It transcends time, it transcends space. And that's the same with God, the way God loves us. So just like, we wish for our kids to have true love and have the things they want and be happy, God has that same love for us. It's good not to forget it. The truth is, you're not alone. You absolutely are not. God didn't design you to be alone. From the very beginning, there was Adam and Eve. And so God's institutions, God created forms for us to function inside of, and it's inside of marriage and family was the very first things he made for us. So I want to think about that a minute. You don't necessarily need swimming pools and public libraries and all these things to be open to experience what God wanted you to experience. What you need is true love. Your spouse, and if you think about this further, it means that even though in our lives we are hoping that Netflix comes out with a new series or things get more exciting, or this will all be over and then I could go back to the theaters, or then I could go, actually God made it so that your family or even just your marriage would be endlessly fascinating. That should be by itself just so much wonder, so much happiness, so much excitement just in the dynamic. If you've ever been to a house of a big family that really gets along or sometimes gets along, it's a heck of a lot of fun. I remember going to my friend's house, childhood friend's house, and they had many kids, 7 kids. And then when neighbors would come over and my family would come over, and it was just like a big party all the time. So actually, that's what God gave us in the form of family, an endless fascination, an endless development together. And you know what's amazing is nothing can cancel your family. Nothing that the government is going to do is going to cancel that. And that's what God gave us to focus on. So as we kind of feel the restriction of other things, we can explore our fascination and deepen our love on the important things. We have to savor it. Savor it is the idea. You know, we've all prepped. I hope you're all prepped and you took some action and you're ready to kind of get through the next week. But after you prep, there's a moment like after you run a marathon or something, you have to take a break, take a breath. And that's what I hope that we can do today. You know, it kind of reminds me because air itself is something we forget. And then, you know, when you're nervous and when you're stressed, you start breathing really shallow. Well, air is just like love. Air is what our bodies breathe, but love is what our soul breathes. Our soul breathes love. And when we stress and we get narrow and tense and tunnel visioned on just some things, you're going to get shallow breath. You're going to forget to expand the lungs of your capacity to give and love others. So we could take this time to really explore that. Explore that. It's like being, imagine, you might have to do this in meditation, because if you live in Florida, it's very far to get to a mountain. But imagine being on a mountain and taking that amazing big breath of fresh air. That's God's love. And it's amazing. Air is always around us, yet it takes a concentrated effort to take a deep breath, you know? It takes effort. And it has to be done on purpose. And that's kind of what we're doing, I think, when we come to church, when we fellowship together, which we're going to do much more of now that we have more time together this week. Don't be surprised if I'm just FaceTiming everybody. So as we rush around, take a big, deep breath of fresh air. Let's not be forgetful of the ones we love. Let's not take for granted the way we take for granted sunlight and air and water. Let's not take for granted the people in our lives. Let's boost them up. And you know, the simplest and best way to foster and fan a relationship to get more life out of it and to be more thankful is to offer to give to someone. Offer to help someone out. After you've prepped and after you've kind of feel like you're a little bit stable, offering your help, offering a helping hand to others is one of the key first fundamental building blocks of building a relationship with other people. So brothers and sisters, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to continue doing this stream, and we hope that we can just be a part of your family in your living room. And, I miss you all in person, but let's keep chatting and staying connected online. On the phone, we can go old school and just chat on the phone. That would be fun for me because it's kind of nostalgic. And just remember, we have everything we need because we have God. We have everything we need because we have true love in our lives. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Pastor Joe. We just want to give you at home a moment of just time to pray, to make that reconnection, and also just to send some love and thoughts out to all those around us. All right, thank you so much for joining us this Sunday for the Family Church of South Florida. We hope to see you again soon, and stay safe stay healthy.
Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart.
I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. See you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory.